In a move shaking the nation and sending shockwaves through both political parties, lawmakers, and citizens alike, a historic decision has just been made in Washington. The House of Representatives has narrowly passed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, marking what many are calling the most significant rollback of federal gun control measures since the National Firearms Act of 1934. The vote was contentious, with passionate arguments on both sides, and the outcome has left the country deeply divided. At the heart of the bill is the deregulation of firearm suppressors, commonly known as silencers. This provision has become a lightning rod for controversy, igniting fierce debate between gun rights advocates, who argue for personal freedom and hearing protection, and gun control supporters, who fear increased risks to public safety and law enforcement. If the Senate follows suit and passes the bill, suppressors would be removed from the National Firearms Act. This would effectively end decades of strict federal regulation, including mandatory background checks, lengthy waiting periods, and the $200 tax stamp that has long been required for ownership. Supporters of the bill see this as a long overdue correction, a necessary step to protect constitutional rights and roll back what they view as unnecessary bureaucratic overreach. Many believe it will make lawful gun ownership more accessible and reduce red tape for responsible citizens. On the other hand, opponents warn that this is a reckless move, one that could have serious and far-reaching public safety risks. They argue that easier access to suppressors could make it harder for law enforcement to prevent and investigate gun crimes, and could endanger communities across the country. Now, all eyes turn to the Senate, where the bill's fate hangs in the balance. The upcoming debate will test the nation's political climate, challenge lawmakers' convictions, and ultimately shape the future of American gun policy for years to come. The stage is set for a high-stakes battle, one with lasting consequences that will echo through the halls of Congress and across the nation. To understand the impact, let's clarify what suppressors and short-barreled rifles, SBRs, are, and what they aren't. Suppressors, often misnamed silencers, don't make guns silent. They reduce gunshot noise to safer levels, but a suppressed shot is still loud. Hollywood's whisper-quiet gunfire is pure fiction. Advocates argue suppressors are safety tools, protecting hearing like earplugs at the range. SBRs are rifles with barrels under 16 inches, regulated since 1934, over fears of concealability and crime. Today, many gun owners say these rules are outdated, as modern firearms technology has evolved and shorter barrels are common for sport and defense. The push for deregulation is about removing what many see as arbitrary, burdensome restrictions on law-abiding citizens. The heart of the new bill is simple: remove suppressors from the NFA, eliminating the $200 tax and federal registry. For decades, buying a suppressor meant months of paperwork, fingerprinting, and long waits. Under the new law, purchasing a suppressor would be as easy as buying a standard rifle. Just a background check at the dealer, then you take it home. Supporters say this change makes suppressors affordable and accessible, transforming them from niche items to common safety accessories. Critics argue that allowing private sales without paperwork creates a dangerous loophole. Proponents counter that criminals don't follow legal channels anyway, and the focus should be on people, not accessories. The debate over access and safety is at the core of this reform. The bill's next challenge is the Senate, where the outcome hinges on budget reconciliation, a process that allows certain tax-related bills to pass with a simple majority, bypassing the usual 60-vote threshold. This means the fate of the bill could be decided by just a handful of votes, making every senator's stance crucial. The process is complex, and the rules are tightly enforced, so every detail of the bill will be scrutinized. Supporters argue that since the NFA is a tax law, removing the suppressor tax fits the rules for reconciliation. They believe this approach gives the bill its best shot at passing, since it avoids a filibuster and only needs a simple majority. Opponents, however, are preparing to challenge this interpretation, arguing that the bill goes beyond tax policy and could violate Senate rules. The Senate parliamentarian, a nonpartisan official, will play a key role in deciding if the full deregulation qualifies under reconciliation. If the parliamentarian rules against it, only the tax elimination may survive, while broader changes could be stripped out. This decision will shape the final version of the bill. Even if the registry remains in place, ending the tax would be a major win for gun owners, making suppressors more accessible and reducing financial barriers. For many, this would be a significant step forward, even if it falls short of full deregulation. Gun rights groups are pushing for more, aiming to deregulate SBRs and other NFA items through the SHORT Act. They see this as an opportunity to roll back decades-old restrictions and expand Second Amendment rights. Their ultimate goal is to strip the NFA of its power and make these regulations a thing of the past, fundamentally changing how firearms are regulated in America. The Senate's decision will determine how far this reform goes, and whether it stops at tax elimination or leads to broader deregulation. The stakes couldn't be higher for both sides, as the outcome will shape the future of gun laws in the United States and set the tone for future debates on gun rights and regulation. Even if federal law changes, state laws still matter. In 8 states, including California, New York, and New Jersey, suppressors remain banned, regardless of federal reform. For residents there, nothing changes unless state legislatures act. In most states, however, the new law would immediately remove the tax, registration, and waiting periods, making suppressors as easy to buy as any other firearm accessory. In states with private sale loopholes, suppressors could be sold without background checks, fueling controversy. Supporters say suppressors aren't firearms and that legal owners aren't the problem. Opponents warn this could make it easier for dangerous individuals to obtain them. The bill's passage has sparked intense and passionate reactions across the country. Gun rights groups call it a historic win for freedom and hearing safety, pointing to Europe's relaxed suppressor laws as a model for the US. They argue suppressors are rarely used in crimes and protect shooters' hearing from permanent damage. Gun control advocates, however, warn that quieter gunfire could endanger the public and complicate law enforcement response times. They argue traditional hearing protection is sufficient, and see the bill as a ploy by the powerful gun industry. Law enforcement groups echo concerns about tracking gunfire in emergencies and responding quickly. Both sides are mobilizing, making the Senate vote a true national flashpoint. The legal strategy behind this reform is rooted in the NFA's status as a tax law, not a gun control statute. This distinction is crucial, as it allows lawmakers to approach the issue from a fiscal perspective rather than a purely regulatory one. By framing the NFA as a matter of taxation, advocates can leverage unique legislative pathways that might otherwise be closed to traditional gun control measures. This approach has been carefully crafted to withstand legal scrutiny and to navigate the complex landscape of federal lawmaking. Supreme Court precedent and recent court cases have upheld the NFA as a tax, opening the door for budget reconciliation in the Senate. This legal foundation is not just a technicality, it's a strategic advantage. By using budget reconciliation, supporters can bypass the filibuster, making it possible to enact significant changes with a simple majority. This maneuver has become a focal point for those seeking to modernize or even roll back certain firearm regulations, and it demonstrates the importance of legal nuance in shaping national policy. Politically, this fulfills promises made to gun owners and energizes a key voting bloc ahead of the midterms. Elected officials recognize the power of this constituency, and by delivering on these promises, they strengthen their support among a passionate and organized group of voters. The timing is no accident. Midterm elections often hinge on turnout, and gun rights remain a galvanizing issue for many Americans. The move is a direct response to recent executive actions seen as overreach, fueling grassroots activism. Across the country, local organizations and individuals have mobilized, staging rallies and contacting lawmakers to demand change. This groundswell of activism has put additional pressure on politicians to act, making the issue impossible to ignore. High-profile supporters have spotlighted the burdens of NFA compliance, making deregulation a rallying cry. Stories of ordinary citizens facing lengthy wait times and complex paperwork have resonated widely, turning bureaucratic frustration into a powerful political message. These advocates argue that reform is not just about rights, but also about fairness and efficiency. This convergence of legal maneuvering, political promises, and public outrage has created the momentum for sweeping change. Public opinion is shifting, with more Americans voicing support for reform. The combination of legal precedent, political will, and grassroots energy has set the stage for a pivotal moment in the nation's ongoing debate over gun laws. The outcome will shape the future of American gun law and the balance between rights and regulation. As the nation watches, the decisions made now will echo for generations, influencing not only policy but the very fabric of American society.